Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'aklanu b'dvori. L'chaim, l'chaim, l'chaim. L'chaim v'livrocha. Let's start off with Haneda Salolo. L'chaim, l'chaim v'livrocha. Hanei rois. Ralu. Hanei rois. Hanei rois. Hello. Hello. Elois, hello, ono ma'li, ala teshuva bum, bum, did it, bum, bum, did it, haneda, lagu, bum, 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 did it, bum, 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 did it, ah, no, Madaliki. I say, yeah, honey, it's me. Honey, it flows. Wait a minute, sentence. Where's the
Cookie corner.
oh, you see, what's
Fire
that?
name.
By your being.
Oh,
Oh, בזמן הזה, בזמן הזה, על ידי
Kawanecho, Akadoshi,
על ידי הקדושים,
Akadoshi, Ayade Kawanecho, Akadoshi,
הקדושים, על ידי כהן הקדושים, למדרגה, מדרגה, מדרגה, All Shmoynes Bechanukah Nedes and Olokoidesh. All Shmoynes Bechanukah Nedes and Olokoidesh. Ein Manu Rishos Mishtamesh Bahem. Leroy Son Belava. Belava. Kedei Leroy Salam. Adam Leroy Salam. Shim. Yeshua said, Ali said, Yeshua said, Ali said, Yeshua said, oh, Chaim, Chaim. 12:30. Ooh. Levi Yitzchak Baditchev, Friedrich Rebbe said, Sukkot night, he couldn't sleep all night. He was waiting for Loisa Shachar. couldn't wait to get his hands on the lulav and esrog. And after Yom Tif, when there was 8 or 9 days where he couldn't put on tefillin, he couldn't wait till the morning of Loisa Shachar to put on tefillin. The Rebbe had a special Farbrengen, Zos Chanukah Farbrengen. The Rebbe said that on Chanukah, a Yid has gaguyim, going away from Chanukah. Funny, this year, kids were having so much pleasure from Chanukah. The kids were saying, like, we're having anxiety that we're going away from Chanukah. Yid should have anxiety that he's going away from Chanukah. But the Yid has to use that anxiety, that koyach, the gaguyim for Chanukah, to bring the Seudos of Chanukah in the entire year. If the gaguyim are just for jelly donuts, many of us would be very happy to stop with the jelly donuts. You don't want to look like a jelly donut soon. But if the gaguyim, so the shaila is, what's Chanukah about to take with us for the entire year? The Rebbe said at Farbrengen, the Mekoim Ritzon Shlodim Shamo Nimtza. Wherever you, if your mind is in Chanukah, we can bring the Seudos of Chanukah into the whole year. And we know the Baal Shem Tov said, Mekoim Ritzon Shlodim Shamo Nimtza. What does it mean? The Rebbe said it's Adnim Mefurish in the Gemara. We see Lagabe Eruvin, Lagabe Eruvin Tchumen Tzatzedes, where is a person live? Where his bread is. I mean, I put it 2,000 Amma. What's Lear? We say that's where he lives. Why is that where he lives? That's where his bread is. And today we don't know food security, Baruch Hashem, Sedah Essen, you want to go here, there, every block, Sudas, Baruch Hashem. There's a Ktsas mitzvah to Bamar Bektsas and Suda, Baruch Hashem is good. But the Chazal understood, you're the Torah of Daita Shalodam. The person's mind is where his food is. We have Lagabi Chanukah, Homachloikis. What is your mokum? Lagabi lighting the Neres Chanukah, which we're cooking it this year. The mokum Shina or the mokum Achila? Machlokes Rosh and the Rashba. And the good spirit of Chanukah, the Ashkenazim and the Sfardim decided to go the other direction. So the Ashkenazim paskin like the Rashba, and the Sfardim paskin like the Rosh. We paskin that mokum, where's a person's mokum? Where he eats. Where he eats. That's his mokum. But a component we see from here that where a person's mind, that's where he is. So if our mind is in the Gewalt of Chanukah, we bring the Koyach of Chanukah and Zos Chanukah into the rest of the year. There's a word from the Rebbe that the day of 8 is according to the Rashba, is a Moradik thing, Shemer Hekev, Shmini, because everything in nature goes in cycles of 7, and 8 is higher than that. The Rebbe says sometimes you have the Aleph before the Zion, that you start with the Aleph and then you go to the Zion, and sometimes you have from the Zion and then you go to the Aleph. There is Oz Yoshir, which is first the Aleph and then the Zion, and then there is sometimes the other way around. We had Zion, and then we have the Aleph afterwards. Zos Chanukah. Zos Chanukah. First the Zion and then the Aleph. So, L'chaim, that this special Farbrengen that we're making tonight, L'chavit Zos Chanukah, L'chavit Chanukah, there's the Koyach to take the Yonam of Chanukah, take it for the whole year. The Rebbe said that Rebbe Rashab's minig was to sit by the candles for half hour. And like the Rabbeim, the Frierdiker Rebbe said, that we have to listen to the story the candles are telling us. The Rebbe said not only to hear, Herem, der Herem, Ishnor Zen, der Zen. Not only we should hear it, but it should go into us, it should seep into us. Not only we should see it, but it should come home with us. And what do you think that Rebbe Rashab did after the half hour? Anyone know? What did he do after the half hour? No. He had a minig kavua to go into his room and to learn Be'iyun, Gemara, Rashi, Tosfos, and Rishayin. That was the minig of the Rebbe Rashab. The Rebbe says, why? You can say a lot of pshot. The Rebbe said the poel mamish. We know that Rebbe Marash had a similar minig that after dancing, he would dance for many hours. And after dancing, he would go to his room until the morning, Simchas Torah, and he would learn Choshe Mishpat with the noise Sekela. It was so. The Rebbe says, upon him, that's you could say Poshet. You know, the biggest Oirus comes, and then we bring it down to Poshet Limud Torah. So we should take the biggest Oirus of Chanukah, and bring it into the entire year. So l'chaim. We should talk
L'chaim.
about. We should. It's natural for you to have gaguyim, to have anxiety that we're going out of Hanukkah, we're missing Hanukkah, and we talk and miss Hanukkah, and there's something magical about Hanukkah, and to say, yeah, it's a cycle, it's every year. Every year is a Or Chodesh, and that we have to take the Gewalt of Hanukkah and bring it with us. And that's why tonight we're Farbrengen, and I want to talk about a few of the Nekudas of the Gewalt of Hanukkah. So we'll start with there's the Hez Abir Nifla from the Rebbe, the famous Kasha from the Beis Yosef in the first Simon Tov Reish Ayin, and the Beis Yosef asked a question. Someone wrote a sefer. There's 101 answers on this Kasha. Kasha was Azoy. What's so special about the miracle? It was l'chayda, not 8 days of a miracle. The miracle was only 7 days for the Beis Yosef, because they found pach echad shel shemen loy hoya by lahadlik aliyim echad v'nasim b'nes, and it was 8 days. One day it wasn't enough oil, so l'chayda the miracle was not for Chanukah. The miracle was not for
8 days.
7 days. Beis Yosef gives 3 tirutzim. First teretz was that they took the oil, they knew they needed for 8 days, and they cut it into 8 parts. And the Eibishter made a nest that Chelik Shminis was strong enough to light for the whole night. Second teretz he gives that it was popcorn, that it was they put the pach, they poured the oil, and when they finished with the whole menorah, they gave a look. The pach was full again. Inami that the next morning when they looked in the 7 cups, they were full again. They were full. No, the pashtas, the way it learns is it depleted and then went back up. Your kasha now is leading to the nekuda of the whole Rebbe's chiddush. The pashtas, the way we learn, is that there's not 3 pshatim, there's 2 pshatim. One is it was a nes and kamus, one in echus. First that it is that it became the Eibishter made the oil should be 8 times as strong. Second is that the Eibishter made, like it should be more. The Rebbe says in either pshat, l'choyre there's not a huge chiddush in the nes. If it was that it became more powerful, the oil, so it's similar to the miracle that happened by Sarah Rivka. If you're saying that the oil was nesraba, the kamus quantity, there was more. That's in the mamish the nes of Elisha and the Isha Shunamish. So the l'choyre there's such a chidush in the nes. The Rebbe, but then the Rebbe has a lot of kashas in each time. How do you allow to put? You're supposed to put 10 lokim medosa. You're supposed to put the right amount. You're supposed to put a half a loig, and it's supposed to last the whole night. I was thinking about it this Hanukkah. Half a loig is not a lot of oil. According to the Bavram Chamanoya, Revius is 3, so a half a loig is 6 ounces.
Oh wow! Oh, this is 7 ounces.
No, I have in my menorah less than 6 ounces. I got cups there, a little less than 6 ounces, and they can last close to 24 hours. But the answer is, if you learned with us at Shimas and menorah, Rashi says that they manipulated, that they always had the same amount of oil. The night is 13 hours or 8 hours. So how do you? So they played around with the wicks. They never had a whole mathematical equation of how they did it. When we learned, it was a few years ago when we learned that Ishimas HaManoida. So the shaila is, how could you put less? You're supposed to put the right amount. And if you say they taka put the right amount, Elamai jug all of a sudden So the jug got empty. There was no oil, and all of a sudden there's more oil. That's not shemen zayis. That's shemenes. The Torah says shemen zayis. Well, you could say the Torah didn't mean shemen that comes after from a zayis. Shemen that has the tchuna of a shemen zayis, that it's a beautiful type of oil. Okay, you could. Either way, you can fa'em for azoy, you can fa'em for azoy. The Rebbe says yesh loima. That the third teretz in the Beis Yosef is not another eicha timtza of how the oil was popcorn. It's the third teretz is a new teretz. The first teretz is that the eichus was stronger. Second teretz was the kamus was nesaraba, became 8 times. So first teretz it became 8 times as strong. Second is they became 8 times bigger, much bigger. The third teretz is a naya teretz. Nimna nimnoas. Rebbe loves the concept. The truth from the Rashba, nimna nimnoas. In the base of Mikdash, Mokem Ma'oren Einem Min Animida. And the Rabbi Shubha says was nimna nimnoas. It's the impossible of the impossible. It's like a Isla Pila, but the Kufa, the Machta, the Gemara says the people in Pompadisa, they were laughable. They would say pshat in the Gemara as if they would put an elephant through the eye of a needle. So the Rebbe says there's 2 ways of doing it. You know, you could make that the eye of the needle should stretch, or you could put the elephant on a diet. You could make the elephant skinny. But Vozama Zogen, that the eye of the needle should stay tiny, and the elephant should stay huge. And be'ois is man mamish, that the eye of the needle is tiny and the elephant is huge, that the elephant could go through the eye of a needle. That's only bekoiches shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Nimna nimnoz. And a Yidus, a Maimon believes that it's shaykh for such a thing to happen. A Maimon believes that this could happen. And this is what happened in the base of Mikdash, that the Mokem Ma'orim, there was a midah, that's what made it kosher. If you didn't build it according to the midah, the Eibush says in the Torah, it's not kosher. There was a midah, and yet it was Eina Min Amida. So the same thing happened to Chanukah. It was Shemen Shel Nes, and it burnt. It was natural Shemen. The third teretz is not the pshat, is like that the oil burnt all night, and then in the morning went. The pshat of the third, the inami, the third teretz is in the Beis Yosef, is that there was the milas of the first and the second teretz together. It burnt like natural oil. Natural oil burns. Shemen zayis. But be'oise azman, it didn't burn. It didn't ruin. It didn't was nechsa. It wasn't nechsa from the shemen. So therefore, it was nimna nimnoas. This is the Rebbe's teretz. This is the Rebbe's pshat in the inami of the Beis Yosef. This is the Rebbe's. The Rebbe kocht in his teretz. This is the Rebbe's teretz. And the Rebbe said that he thinks that that's what the Beis Yosef meant in the third teretz. And the lesson avodas Hashem. What's the lesson avodas Hashem? The Rebbe said there's the 3 ways. The Alter Rebbe says Ereishus avodah v'ikra v'shorsho is Kabbalas el Malchus Shamayim. And he dedicates himself to the Eibishter. There's 3 ways of doing it. One is the beginning of the day. But the rest of the day is nish nikar azoy the Yireh Shamayim. The second way, it's nikar a whole day a little bit at the Yiddah to Gedavant, times to Gedavant. But it's not the bren during the day. It's not the same bren like it was b'shas atfila. And the third is nimna nimnos, that he's taka in the world, and he's dealing with customers, and he's dealing with the Welt of Zafirin, and at the same time he has a bren, an unbelievable bren of Avos Hashem, and one doesn't have to do with the other.
That's not showing.
That's nimna nimnos.
That's not showing.
Yeah, in the one hand, yeah, it's unbelievable. So that's one lesson that Rebbe said that we have from Chanukah. This Nimna is the impossible of the impossible. Nimna means Nimna. It's manua. It's manua of the manua. It's not like crazy. It's crazy Sheba crazy. So Nimna Nimna. These are the words of the Rashba. So that's the lesson avodas Hashem for Magid. L'chaim l'chaim, before we can break up for a nigan from the Farbrengen. So there was in the Chabad magazine an interview a few years ago with Shlomo Kunyan, and Rabbi Kunyan said he was coming back. He finished the telephone once a year. He makes a big show, chulu b'chulu, b'tanz, Yeah, but no, he brings yeah,
John Voight.
and
Doesn't have that
The only
Doesn't have that
Jewish.
yeah, that's all. Macht's it.
I know.
Okay. But he always, when he finishes the telethon, he comes to the Rebbe to give a report, and he was coming. The plane landed, and that was they were taxiing. So he figured he'd try to. He asked a few people if they want to put on film, do mitzvah film the. So Yid came over to him, and it was a Yid that he said that he was living. He wanted to tell him a story about the telethon. He says, "You're the rabbi at the telethon, yeah." So I want to tell you something about the telethon. He said he grew up in Williamsburg with a chaver, the Migang and Yeshiva, both South there. And he says he moved to Los Angeles, and he met this chaver. Rachmana litzlan, he was off the derech, but he kept the kesher with him because they were chaverim when they were young. And this guy, his chaver from Hamol, told him that there's a red line. There was one thing he was never going to do. He was never going to marry a shiksa. Okay. It was very nice. He kept the kesher with him. He gets an invitation from his friend for a chasna. So he calls his friend, and it turns out she identifies as Jewish. She identifies as Jewish. Her father was Jewish. Zashiksa. Nagoy. What she identifies as. She's Nagoy. He says, he already has a date for the chasna. Nothing to talk about. He says there was a short time later when the Chava came to his apartment, to his house, whatever. And Chava told him that he was in the Shiksa's apartment, and we're going through preparations for the chasna. And she had the television on, and the telephone was playing. And in the telephone, he goes, he has, but then he always wants that the Rebbe should be on. So he had that when he was watching it, they put on a video of the Rebbe. Al Chanukah Live Tavshin Aleph. Remember it? That the Rebbe was very happy about this. They had simultaneous
Different cities,
different,
in the world,
yeah,
different
Yerushalayim and Paris. They had in Australia, yeah, and it was simultaneous at that 1991. It was, yeah, satellite. And that took a lot of coordination, but they had from all over the world. I remember the Mart Chaliyahu lived in Menoida by the Koisel Marovi. Give a beautiful bracha for the Rebbe.
It was Russia from.
They had from Russia. They had the Red Square, and by the way, from the Chanukah Law, you learn a very important din, which is that there's a whole discussion in Lubavitch Ad Hayom, when the Rebbe made the campaign that you should light the menorah, public menorah lighting. Did he mean with a bracha, without a bracha? With a bracha, without a bracha. The Rebbe never said about, never spoke about it. There's people presuming these. Because the being yoitz, it's not a mokim machila, not a mokim nina. Oh, so the answer is because in the shul there's a minig by a shul to do it. So shaila is, could you be medamid to a shul or not? So a dava posh l'choyda from the fact that you saw that the Rebbe was part of it. If the Rebbe thought it was a bracha l'vatola, I would say something. Even though the Rebbe didn't pass him, but if it was a shaila bracha l'vatola, it says something. Anyway. Yeah.
They make it bracha now.
Okay, just because shluchim do it doesn't mean it's right. The Rebbe, there's a discussion among shluchim. Yeah, some shluchim will say that at least there should be asorim Yisrael. There's a discussion among poskim. So asorim Yisrael, machna mincha in the zayit. It's every shliach has their own mahalach of what they think. I think most shluchim make a bracha. If you're not going to make a bracha, this is. Fehlt sich nicht.
I've never had one dropping candy or Zos Chanukah.
Who's dropping candy?
In public,
Different.
So come drop candy now.
Don't drop.
Okay. So he said that he was watching the Rebbe. His friend told me he was watching the Rebbe in the thing, And then they had all of a sudden on the screen, they put the Shlomo Kunyan put on the Rebbe singing Tzamah L'cha Nafshi. And a very powerful Tzamah L'cha Nafshi. So he sees the video of the Chanukah Tzamah L'cha Nafshi. And he said that Mamash, it's them genommen the hearts. And he just got up, he walked out of her apartment. He got back to his apartment, he called her, and he let her know that it's off. And this is a story that Shlomo Kunyan said to Kfach. It was a few years ago. So we see the unbelievable koyach of Neiris Chanukah. So the Eibush shall help that the Neiris Chanukah should have a pull on us and our avodas Hashem going forward from Chanukah. And Sol Zayin, so it should be nikir in our avodas Hashem after Chanukah that we experience Chanukah. L'chaim, l'chaim, l'chaim.
The tribes in GML, they wouldn't have this Hanukkah, wouldn't
Huh?
they wouldn't have this Hanukkah, wouldn't be Farbrengen, would be nothing.
Right,
So for 20 years.
right. This is.
Look what it's fine.
Did it I ya 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 did it I ya 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 did it I ya 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 I did it I oh did it L'chaim, l'chaim. This is l'chaim for all the kedoshim. In the Neiris we say that that there's Indian of kedusha which ain't on rishus lishtamish behem el leroisem balvad. So the pashtus, the Rebbe says, what does it mean? Ain't on rishus lishtamish el leroisem. Lishta el leroisem. The pshat is the ishtamshus gashmis we're not allowed to have. The ishtamshus ruchnis, which is to look at the candles and to learn a lesson, we could have. So first we take a lesson. The Yidden HaKadoshim, we say l'chaim that this should be the last time the Yidden that show their love to the Eibush in a way that begashmi is that Yid is nechse from Eilam Hazeh. And so some lichtig Gan Eden, they should hope that the children and the mishpoches should be healed, their heart should be healed.
According to that, could you learn Torah by the Neres Chanukah?
Why not? You mean using the glow of the candles?
You're sitting by the Neres Chanukah.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll have lights on anyway, so you're
Hush
getting
this now.
more light from the
Right. Hush this now.
bulb than the Neres Chanukah.
Catch this now.
Why we light a summer?
Right.
Right, so you have to have other ones.
That's right, that's why we have a summer.
We all have other lights on
Yeah.
now.
So there's a machlokas in the Gemara if also lishtamish loyren or mutter lishtamish loyren. So the Rebbe says, what's the machlokas if also lishtamish or mutter lishtamish? The Rebbe says that we find in the Gemara that you're not allowed to use mais and nisim. Many places in the Gemara we have this thing. For example, the story of Reb Medois and his wife. You're not allowed to use mais and nisim. On the other hand, look in Teresh B'Ksav. The story of the Mon is mais and nisim, and the Eibishter wanted Eden to eat it. So the shaila is this The native Samanoida is mutter l'shtamish loiden, also l'shtamish loiden, because we get a that's totally in this shaila. But avada gewiss that liroisen, to learn a lesson from the candles, we have to learn a lesson. And the Frierdiker Rebbe said that this candles are telling us a story. Medaf heden, we have to hear it. Medaf der heden, we have to take it in. Medaf zen, medaf der zen, has to go into us. And one of the Pashta lessons, the first lesson we learned about was Mesiris Nefesh. But another lesson that's Dova Poshet from the Neda Samanoida is the fusion of Neis and Teva. That sometimes things look like Teva, but Be'emes, it's Nes, and Nis and Nis. And the Rebbe Marash said that Parnosa Haint is Azoiv Demon. That really it's all Nisim for Yidden B'chlal, or Yidden Ebachis and Golos, and that Yid should be Matzlich and Parnosa is the Nes. So, but that has to be our attitude going out, that Be'emes it's Miyodam Le'apsucha G'dosha B'chova from Eibishn. That's the approach that we have to have. That's the attitude we have to have, and that's a very important lesson. In other words, the Neiris Hamanoida tell us that Inyan Shebenes, a Inyan of a Nes. So the Rebbe shall help from going forward that we should know of Nisim, and we should know such good Nisim that Ein Bal Nes Makir Benisoy. We have so many. We're going and we're coming. We're in Golos. We don't even know how much sinner there is around us, and how much David is just protecting us. So we should continue not knowing how many nisim there is. L'chaim, l'chaim, l'chaim. Hey, Mosai, Kosimar, Lech Sheyafut, and same, thank you, thank you.
Like this gets to wash down.
Yeah. Hey, Mosai, come
Donuts from Twists. Donuts from Cookie Corner are.
These are not donuts.
Cinnamon bun.
I'm not mumfa.
They're not donuts.
Donuts
Donuts are fried and oiled. And then the
Cinnamon
is
bun.
mazonis, even if you eat 100 of them.
Yeah.
And this is baked in the oven. And if you eat,
Okay, some are dairy. You wouldn't know the dairy.
This table is dairy.
But
Besides for this,
No, it doesn't matter what besides. This table is considered dairy.
I have a dumb question.
first, come back to the time. Time, the time.
I'm over.
What was miracle that oil was refilled in a menorah, or oil was in a jar, or refilled a jar?
That's a three pshatim. One is the jar
That was a nest.
that was a nest.
No, but was a nest that they found the pot.
That was also a nest. Some say that the first day was the nest that they found the pach.
Because there is mitzvah every light menorah. So basically, my understanding is that all of menorah has to burn in order to next day to light it. So when they pour oil from a jar, that was like stay the same level. Or
That was the second answer. Yeah, that they poured it out of the jar, and it stayed the same amount in the jar
they became after they pour.
after they pour.
Or during the pour.
After they finished pouring, they poured, and then third thing we spoke about the three terutzim of the Beis Yosef. Spoke about in Ein Lonu Shus Lishtamish Behem, Mutalon is also, and by the way, it's negated to what we spoke about this morning. Spoke this morning about if you have to burn the wicks, if you could throw them in the garbage. And the third thing I want to talk about is the Rebbe's big koch in Mahader and Mina Mahader. The Rebbe always said that we find some Advar Pella that by Chanukah, the Gemara says that there's a mitzvah, there's Mahadrin, a Mahadrin, Mina Mahadrin. The Ramah said, Minik Poshut, that Klal Yisrael to do Dafka Mahadrin, Mina Mahadrin. To the extent that this year we were learning in the Mishnah Brura, and the Ashkenazim, the din is that a person who's achsanoi, according to many of the Ashkenazim, and the Marival, the Maril, that even though his wife is lighting for him, but it's achshad, because Bisman everyone's mahadrim and a mahadrim. They're saying, what's like, was Shagets is not mahadrim and a mahadrim. Or was Shailas, it's not Nishkin Shagets. So it's Nishkin mahadrim and a mahadrim, and his wife is doing it for him. He's giving him the shtat of a pretty. What's the big deal? What's the big deal? No. It became so the minik poshut that every yid is mahadrin mina mahadrin. The Rebbe says, what's the lesson from this going out of Chanukah? The Rebbe said that the lesson is poshut. And a person could say, Ich daven, what's the difference? Daven, it's dry, juicy, it's with kavana, without kavana. I'm doing what I need to do. I'm doing what I need to do. What's an afkamina? I keep kosher, keeping kosher. What's the shaila? This, that came out, and the thing, the beer, in the hair, whatever. It's kosher. It's kosher. It's kosher. You see, there's a chesemis over here. Chesemis amat of apsilim. There's a chesemis over here, and it's good. It's good enough. The mashgiach is screaming from the kitchen that the is good. It's fine. He's just the overzealot over mashgiach. But that's when a yid wants to mitzvahs. No oifen of mitzvahs anoshim alamoda. But when a yid really wants to be dovek in the Meibishn, and he wants to be dovek through Torah mitzvahs, so he doesn't want to do my mitzvahs anoshim alamoda. There's some things in life you want to do to yoytzezayin. Some things you want to do with all 9 yards. You want it the full Monty. You want it good. So when it comes to mitzvahs Nei Chanukah, minik poshet of Klal Yisrael is to do dafke mahadrin mina mahadrin. So that's the lesson that we take for the whole year. That when it comes to the food we eat, it's mahadrin mina mahadrin. And when it comes to the davening madaven, it's mahadrin mina mahadrin. When it comes to be machanach our children, b'derech haTorah, yeah, we could do it in many ways, but whatever is in our mind is mahadrin mina mahadrin, that's what we should do. And everything that we do should not l'chatchila be the ovad. L'chatchila should be mahadrin mina mahadrin. That should be our attitude. Why? Because that's our geshmak and that's our chayis. So that's why we want to do it, mahadrin mina mahadrin. So to summarize, Farbrengen tonight, Farbrengen is not a summary, but spoke 3 Geschmacke in the Kudus from the Rebbe's Torah. One is the Rebbe's Torah about the 3 answers in the Beis Yosef, about the menorah, what was the miracle, and the lesson in the Oifen of Kabbalah Soil Mesiris Nefesh, that it should be in a way that Nimna Nimnos, that a whole day sebrent a fire of Avos Hashem. On the other hand, we are engaged in the world, and both happening at the same time. Second is the union of if it's mutter lishtamish loida, also lishtamish loida, which is the bottom line is that we learn a lesson from the candles about nisim, that the emphasis everything in our life is nisim, and therefore our attitude in our life is based on knowing that the Rebbeinu Shalom macht from is nisim, and also beruchnis, like we spoke about the Shabbos, Ayid will daven, and he turns to the Eibishter to give him koyach to daven. We don't daven b'koyach atzmeinu. We daven the Eibishter's koyach. The Eibishter gives us koyach to daven. We ask the Eibishter koyach to daven, just like we ask the Eibishter to give us parnasa b'gashmias. We ask the Eibishter to give us parnasa b'ruchnias. And the third lesson is adover poshut. That from Chanukah we learn that we want to be mahadrin mina mahadrin. Yeah, we could do it stam, and we're yoitze that you want to do mahadrim and a mahadrim. So l'chaim, l'chaim, l'chaim. We still have a full day of Hanukkah left. But the Lepoil, everyone already lit the menorah, and if someone didn't light the menorah, again, we're lighting the menorah right now. So, but for it's doch Zos Chanukah, Zos Zayin, and auch dem kommt der Aleph, Zos Chanukah. So they shall help Taka. First of all, they should give Chanukah geld to alle Yidden. Chanukah geld na oifen the Gashmias, or the Ruchnias, and Taka, that we should feel the Gewalt from Chanukah, and we should see it in the next 12 months. And by next Chanukah, Lashana Habo Yerushalayim, that the Frierdiker Rebbe's Koch was not the Pshat Lashana Habo we're going to go. But Lashana Habo, we're all going to be settled. We can have our apartments in Yerushalayim. And we'll be there to see that Loke in the base of Mikdash HaShlishi. L'chaim, l'chaim, l'chaim.
L'chaim.
The whole shop is about any mitzvah.
Right.
So they didn't say anything about Mahadrin. It was certainly not Mahadrin, then Mahadrin.
Right, exactly. This is like something special that we find by Neidas Chanukah. Exactly. Something unique. L'chaim, l'chaim.
Here, a Hanukkah story from Kiev.
Yeah.
All right. So this was told to me by Rabbi Levin on Ocean Parkway. So he said that he arranged for a Hanukkah lighting in the middle of Kiev, and he had the assistant mayor lit the chamas. The assistant mayor lit the chamas, and then he asked them to give him back the light so that he could light the maybe say the bracha for the candles. And he said, "Why should I do that?" And he said, "Because you're not Jewish." And the assistant mayor said, "Don't tell anybody, but I'm Jewish."
David, regards to Shraga Five-O, how are you?
Freiliche Chanukah.
Baruch Hashem, I ate by them on Shabbos night, and on Shabbos day he invited me over, but I was already full from the different parties.
All right.
Okay, Freiliche Chanukah for everyone that's joining us.
I'll give him your regards.
Good try.
Freiliche Chanukah.